So Bill, you seem to know a lot of screenwriters, and I'm wondering if the screenwriters that you've come in contact with, of the ones who have sold scripts, are they any better than the ones who've never sold scripts?
Ooh, that's a really interesting question, because here's what I think. I think the ones that haven't sold scripts, there's some lesson they haven't learned yet. And the ones that have sold scripts have learned some of those lessons. And although this is impossible for me to answer question, because here's the thing. Someplace there's a screenwriter that hasn't sold a script that has figured out all the answers now. And what they're waiting for is the luck element. But did I talk about traveling scripts last time? Sure. Okay. I believe that if you have a great script, nothing stands in its way. And here's why. The script that I sold, did I tell this story? I don't know if I should tell this story on camera, but anyway, I'm telling it anyway. Here's the thing. I'm gonna tell a slightly fictionalized version of another thing that happened. So the slightly fictionalized version, so no names will not be named, is I had a script that I wrote and gave to a friend of mine who to read and give me notes. Instead of reading it, he left it on his coffee table, where his roommate, who's in a garage band, read the script. His roommate in the garage band took it to his garage band rehearsal, and that script passed around the band. Then that script passed around to the next band, and the next band, and the next band, and traveled through the business of bands. Traveled through every unsigned garage band in Los Angeles, until finally it came to somebody who had a connection to a film producer. And I get a call from this person I don't know who says, I read your script, I have a meeting with this film producer, can I pitch it to him? And I said, absolutely. But that was a script that didn't go through any normal channels. If you have that script that's that good, then somebody reads it and goes, this is a good script. And in this business, everything is about trying to get to do favors to earn favors. So a guy who is that unpaid intern reads your script and goes, this is now my chance to become the paid script reader. So they turn it over to the boss and say, I found the script, it's wonderful. And hopefully because they found the great script, they get promoted. And so that's how this business works, is everyone's trying to find the great script. So if you have the great script and you give it to the wrong person, it will still sell. One of my script deals that happened because the temp receptionist for a production company I cold called. I pitched my script and he goes, well, it sounds like a lot of the posters around here, but I'm the temp receptionist, I can't do shit for you. And I said, can I send you my, when is your temp time up? And he goes, I'm here for another week and a half. And I said, can I send you the script? Can you read it? He goes, I can't do anything for you. I said, that's fine. Can I send you the script? And so I sent him the script, he read it and went, this is a great script. And so he then pitched it to the head of development. And the head of development read the script, probably reluctantly, and said, this is a great script. So I sold that script to the company based on the temp receptionist. The temp receptionist became the full-time receptionist, and he got promoted. The head of development ended up eventually becoming a head of production. And all these things happened because this guy who had no chance to do anything for me read my script. But that's the way the business kind of works, is you get your script out there. So the difference between that unsold writer and that sold writer, or writer that's made money, is it's not as much access as it is the material. So that sold writer has often learned some lesson, whatever that lesson is, that the unsold writer hasn't. That isn't always true, because there's those unsold writers that are right there on the edge and it's just about to happen, and it will happen. But there are other writers that aren't there yet. So one of the things I always say is read your 5 favorite screenplays and read yours. If one of these is not like the other, you aren't ready yet. If you read your 5 favorite screenplays and then read yours and you go, my script is on the same level as these, then you're probably ready. But a lot of people think they're ready and they aren't.
That goes back to self-honesty.
It does. But I mean, there's so many different, the thing about a screenplay is it's a million different working parts, and getting them all to line up is like often a miracle. You know, even for a professional writer, okay, now I'm going to tell a story without the name. I met a famous professional writer who at the time was the #1 screenwriter in the world at a screening of one of his movies, and because I was a wannabe screenwriter at the time, because I was a wannabe screenwriter at the time, I knew what he looked like. So I went up to him and talked to him, and there had been a script of his that had been in the trades that, because he was famous, the whole deal was that was going to be his next big script, and the studios were going to pay a lot of money for it, and then nothing happened. I said, so whatever happened to that script? And he goes, well, they can't all be winners. I said, wow, that's awesome that here's a guy that probably could have sold his laundry list and wrote the script that didn't work. And so he went, this script didn't work, I could probably sell it, but it's never going to be a good movie, so I'm putting it aside on that shelf until he figures out how to make it work. And so even somebody that's a professional can write a script that doesn't work. And the new writer often doesn't realize that the script doesn't work in the first place. Because there's so many different working parts. There could be a part that's not working. The main thing often with new writers is they either go to soulless commercial crap or way too personal that has no commercial aspects. And it's like finding that middle ground is often the tough thing to do. And that ends up being the thing that I think is the average writer probably has trouble finding that middle ground. The other thing is, and this is like a more recent thing, is probably writer's voice, which is a writer needs to write so distinctively that when I read their script, I go, I know who wrote this. And that's one of those things that takes time to develop, to figure out who the hell you are as a person, as a writer, and figure out how to get that on the page. And that, again, that's one of those end lessons. That's like you can get everything right and not have that. And that might be the thing. That could get you reads, that can get you a lot of things without having that voice. And the voice is often the thing that takes the good script and turns it into the great script, because now you're giving us a point of view, you're giving us a sort of a look into a world that nobody else can give that look into. That is the worst sentence ever.
But I get it. I see what you're saying. So tell me again that phrase again, which should be a bumper sticker, by the way. You talked about bumper stickers?
Yeah, which phrase?
Hollywood is a place that you provide favors to get favors?
Yeah. Basically, I don't even know what I said, because I said it right off the top of my head. It's everyone is going to try to find a favor to give someone so they can later on collect a favor. And so it's like a favor business. So I'm going to do this favor for you, and then later on, I'm going to ask you for a favor. But when I ask you for that favor, I better be careful that this is the one favor I want to ask. Because you can do things where, again, some of my career mistakes have been asking for stupid favors when I could have asked for a better favor. And you don't realize, sometimes that you're at that point where you can ask for a better favor. And new writers can make friends with established writers, and you don't want to ask the favor too soon. Because if you ask the favor too soon, then you're the person that's just climbing. We all see you as the social climber. But if you let it go out along for a while, be the friend for a while, then eventually you can get to the point where, and if you're clever, the clever word, if you're clever, instead of saying, I would like you to introduce me to your agent, the clever writer says, could you read my script and tell me what's wrong with it? And what you hope is they read your script and go, this is an awesome script. I'm going to hand this to my agent, because that's a favor I'm doing for my agent, who will then do a favor for me later on. And send out that pet script of mine that my agent doesn't want to send out because it's not commercial. No one's going to buy this. Maybe my agent will send it out then.
Clever versus intelligent?
Oh, it's intelligent, but it's like you're being intelligent, but at the same time you're looking at things and going, this is
Machiavellian.
Yeah. There's the clever thing involved in there. But basically, what you want to do is you don't want to waste your favor on something stupid, because I've wasted favors on stupid things a million times. My career is a mess because I'm stupid. No, seriously. I look back at things and go, man, if I just done this instead of this, I would be better off now. I don't know if I talked about it last time, but a producer wanted me to adapt Angels and Demons, the Dan Brown novel. I turned it down because I hated the book. That was before it was Ron Howard and Tom Hanks. But had I said yes, just because, look, I'll get paid, I'll adapt this book for money. Instead, I went, I hate this book, I don't want to do it. But if I just would have adapted it for money, I would probably have, well, I don't know, Writers Guild rules changed recently for screenplay credits, but for adapted stuff. But at that point in time, I probably would have had a screenplay credit on a Ron Howard movie. But you look back and stuff like that and you go, I made a mistake there. And you can look back on anything in your life and go, that was a stupid thing to do. I'm not sure this is part of the interview.